we're going to be profiling Golisopod Zoroark, a deck that I think is pretty decent so far in Standard. Starts off pretty easily with Pokemon. We got 3 Wimpod, 3 Golisopod, and then there may be some differences in how people play the Zoroark, but I prefer a 2-2-2 line, as it's just easier to get it out and be able to use either the break or actually Zoroark itself, because Mind Jack with the 10+30 for most decks that actually fill their bench in Standard. For example, Bulu fills its bench really quickly, Volcanion, other Golisopods, Gardevoir. Plus, combine that with the damage done with Golisopod either from First Impression or Armor Press, you're taking knockouts quickly. Plus the break allowing you to use any attack with foul play is just too good. And the necessary 2 Lele's, grab any supporter from your deck, always wonderful. And Remoraid Octillery is kind of it's considered an odd choice because we have a Rangaroo, which is just one you put down and you can just use it. But Abyssal Hand allows you to grab more cards, so it gives you better options, it gives you more chance to grab into what you need. It just works out decently well. And then one of the Tapu Koko promos. It's not really a great attacker, but when you're trying to get free retreat with Golisopod and get it out for First Impression, it's a really, really good option. For example, when you Guzma, you can easily just Guzma yourself into this, bring out whatever you want to knock out or whatever you want to put damage on in your opponent, and free retreat back into Golisopod. That's basically it for the Pokemon. Next up we got the items, which are pretty standard. Start off with the 4 Ultra Balls. Some people play 3, I prefer the 4 because then you have a better chance of almost always grabbing what you need to get. Especially if you're looking for that Zoroark line or the Remoraid or Tapu Koko. 3 Float Stones, which is a little bit heavy, but with Field Blowers and your necessity to retreat in and out, you're going to want to have an option to get yourself in and out. 3 Choice Bands, which are just really good. I mean, 30 more for however, 30 more to your attack is just, it's a better option. It can guarantee you knockouts in certain situations that normally you couldn't get a knockout. And plus with Field Blowers, again, being a thing, you can have more chance to attach them and keep them on. And then I have my own Field Blowers. 2 is pretty standard. Playing 1 more is not really, unless you're playing a Garbodor deck. There's not really a point to playing more than 2. And then a Heavy Ball, which is really good if you need to grab a Wimpod or a Golisopod and start that up. Rescue Stretcher to just bring whatever you need back to your hand or put more of any of the lines back into your deck. And then 1 Special Charge is like a little tech just in case you want to get back, because this you can run Rainbows, DCEs, just get it back quickly. Alright. Scoop these up, and I'm going to go on to our supporters. Again, pretty standard. 4 Ends, 4 Sycamores, which is personal preference. Some people run 3 or less. I prefer the 4-4 to give me a chance to almost always guarantee a draw supporter, because you need to move semi-quickly when you're trying to go. 3 Guzmas, because honestly the ability to switch yourself and your opponent is just too good with 1 supporter, especially with Golisopod, because it gives me a chance to switch in and start either First Impression or if I need to cross cut or whichever one I need to do. And 3 Abesarolas, another good card. I honestly use it if a Golisopod is about to be knocked out or I need a Zoroark out of the way. Just let me pick everything up and put it right back into my hand and then go into whatever I need to go into. 1 Olympia for roughly the same reason. Let me switch something out, put what I need to up while healing damage off of something. And then what seems like a staple necessity in Standard right now, the 1 of Bridget. It's super good turn 1. Grab out 3 of any Pokemon you need, set them on the bench. Perfect start to a setup. That's all the supporters. And then the energy is roughly the same. 4 rainbow energies. gives you a chance to use whatever energy you would need. I use it for the Zoroark most of the time, but it's also good to put on a Golisopod or a Wimpod if you want to just go in. 4 grass energies for the Golisopod, and then DCEs, which are good for both, especially if you want to just go on a Zoroark and just stand in. And that's basically my deck list. I know there's a lot of different ones in Standard. Let me know what you have in your deck box. Let's see what else is played.